contact us. These are our emails, Mary Lou, myself, Christy, Elizabeth Stein, who's on Q&A, and then this is our General Enrollment Services phone number, and then email. Please feel free to email us. We are so happy to engage with you and to answer your questions. Email is definitely the best way to get a hold of us. I have my email on my phone. I'm prepared to email you. And also that QR code in the corner, that's going to lead you to our local high school website. Make sure you're visiting there for all of our workshop dates, for updated information, for student support programs, things like that, so we can connect you to all of that. And that's all I got. I don't know if we have any questions that we want to answer.
We do.
All right.
Just give me just 1 second. Sorry, I've been typing away here. Just going to go to the top. Had a question about athletics.
Yeah.
And, you know, how students would find out about, you know, teams that we have, how to get on those teams, and to get that information about the coaches, et cetera. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we do have an SBCC athletics website. If you go to sbcc.edu and just search for athletics, it'll pull it up. Also email one of us that are here. We're happy to send you that link to our SBCC athletics website. There is a recruitment form for every team that we have, and also a section that has all of the coaches and also their contact information. So their email will be on there, and you're definitely going to want to contact the coach for the sport that you're interested in and fill out the recruitment form. So make sure that you are emailing one of us so that we can send you that link over to you.
Great, thank you. Christy, could you talk about what the difference as far as the additional steps or needs of undocumented students would be, specifically when applying to the college, as well as financial aid?
Perfect. Thank you. Great question. So for undocumented students, there is a section in the application where you do have to fill it out slightly different. I would highly encourage all students, right, to come to our workshop so that we can walk you through that. Or we can email you a screenshot of what you need to be doing. So contact us so that we can guide you through those steps and get you maybe an application packet or information on the workshop. But in addition to that, you will need to fill out an AB 540 affidavit form. So you do the application, and then we need to get a form for you to fill out to submit to admissions and records. So make sure that you're getting in contact with us so we can get that on file for you. And then also in regards to financial aid, highly recommend that you fill out the DREAM Act. If you are an undocumented student, fill out the DREAM Act. That's how you're going to be able to fulfill that financial aid requirement for the promise, so that you can potentially get some additional aid.
Christy, of course, you know, students want to know what's happening in the fall. Are we going to be virtual? Are we going to be in person?
Great question. So currently for spring of 2021, we are primarily online. The very few courses that are approved by the state of California to be in person are going to be like our CTE programs, such as like nursing, automotive technology, a few others. For the upcoming semesters, as in summer and fall of 2021, unfortunately, it's kind of like a sit around and wait situation. We have not been informed as to if we will be in person or online or what the status of that is. But if you follow us on Instagram or in other venues, then you'll be probably the first to know that information, because we will put that out there as soon as we're able to know what the status is for the upcoming fall and 2021 semester.
Great. We have the wonderful Barajas, who is our lead high school academic counselor, who is available and looking at the questions and answering things for us that we may not be able to answer. One thing that we could just go back to the playing a sport. If you are interested in playing a sport at SBCC, it would be really important for you to let your counselor know during class planning, because depending on the sport you're playing, there's often courses that you need to take as a student athlete, and so they need to really make sure that they work those into your schedule.
Yes, I mean, I really thank you, Sabrina, for being here. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of academic counseling. And that's why it is, one of the eligibility requirements for the SBCC Promise is because it's so crucial to be meeting with your academic counselors to help shape what classes you're taking so that you can achieve your academic goals and your career goals.
Christy, can you talk a little bit about how students get into the honors program?
Yes. So number one, I would highly encourage you to email us, one of us directly, so that we can get you connected with the support staff for the honors program. One of our college representatives, some of you might know him, Oliver Vallejo, is involved in the honors program. So we'd love to put you in contact with him as well. But there is an application process. So you do need to apply to the honors program. It requires you to have your high school transcripts, because I think there is a required GPA. And for any of our student support programs, honors, DSPS, EOPS, it's really important that you are applying to the college first, right? You can definitely reach out to these programs for information, but you are not able to apply to these programs until you're recognized as a student at Santa Barbara City College. And that means that you have an application on file. So as soon as you fill out the application and you're able to get into your pipeline, we can get you connected and applying to these student support programs, such as honors or whatever it's going to be. So for anyone that's interested in honors, make sure you're emailing one of us so that we can get you to their website, get you to their application, and connected with their support staff.
Christy, for somebody that wants to go into something like cosmetology, there's the tuition and the fees and everything, but there's a pretty expensive kit that's involved. Will the Promise cover a student that's eligible for the Promise and to go into the cosmetology program?
100%. So as a Santa Barbara City College Promise student, all of your required textbooks, fees, everything is covered. So that does cover a cosmetology kit, because it's a requirement of you being in that program. The same thing goes for culinary arts. I think the knife kit costs what, Elizabeth, like $200?
At least. At least. And then the uniform, shoes.
Exactly. And so it's gonna cover all of those required costs.
I just want to make sure you were done.
Yeah,
can you talk about program that for students that maybe have a 504, an IEP, have a learning disability? Can you talk a little bit about what services are available for them and what they do about it, how to get plugged in?
Great question. So that's going to be our DSPS program. So our disabilities service, oh my gosh, I'm like blanking on it. Disabled students programs and services. Thank you, Liz. Disabled students programs and services. So if you have an IEP or 504 from high school, you're going to 100% want to get connected with our DSPS department. Again, the application would require you to be recognized as a student at SBCC, so you would need a K number access to your pipeline. But once you do that, go ahead and shoot us an email. We'll connect you to DSPS, connect you with the application. Once you apply, it's a very short application online. You will do an intake appointment with DSPS, and then they'll set you up with accommodations. I mean, there's tutoring specifically for DSPS department. There's counselors specifically for DSPS students, and any accommodations that you need and you meet with your counselor, those will be provided to you so that you can be successful at SBCC. And this also extends also beyond students that might be an IUP or 504. Like, for example, I didn't even mention this, but like, should you like break your leg or break your arm and it's your writing arm, you would be eligible for DSPS services because you, as an SBCC student, need support to be successful at SBCC. And so get in contact with them or let us know of any situation so that we can get you in contact. They have great support service staff. If any of you know Christian Limon, he's fantastic. And we can get you connected with them. But definitely do the application for DSPS and get connected with services to help support you be successful.
Christy, does Santa Barbara City College have housing?
Great question. So Santa Barbara City College does not have housing on campus, nor do we really support or tell students that they should live in one place or another. What we do is we provide housing options for students, whether that's apartment living, dorm style living, roommates. We do have a housing section on our website, and it will connect you to our housing options for students. And we, they would have to go directly through those housing options and to find a housing situation that's most suitable for them as a student. So email us, we can send you over that link, or you can go to sbcc.edu and type in housing, and it'll take you to our housing website.
Great. Chrissy, how would students become part of EOPS? And then I actually have a question specifically about how would they learn more and sign up for Running Start.
Awesome. So EOPS, again, it's like similar with all of our programs. You would first need an application on file. With EOPS specifically, you would also need your financial aid information. So you would need to fill out a CCPG, a DREAM Act, or FAFSA, because it's part of your intake with EOPS. And it's about scheduling an appointment to see if you have eligibility. So the requirements would be fill out an SBCC application and have your financial aid to see if you are eligible. And we can set you up with that. So shoot us an email so that we can get you connected with EOPS. Also, Running Start requires you would meet with a specific person. His name's Ismail Ulloa, and he is an advisor in EOPS, and he runs the Running Start program. There is an application and intake for that. Again, email us so that we can get in contact, so we can contact you with him to see what the process is going to be for Running Start this year. I do know that it involves you applying to Running Start and then like an interview of some sort. I'm not sure how they're doing that specifically for in the virtual world, but I'm happy to connect you with those services.
Christy, we had a question about UCLA and or Berkeley being on the transfer agreement and whether or not that's even a possibility for students to transfer to either of those schools from Santa Barbara City College.
So yes, you can apply and transfer to any four-year university that accepts transfer students from SBCC. UCLA and UC Berkeley are not on the transfer admission guarantee, which means they do not guarantee admission. We don't have a guarantee with them like we do some of the other UCs, but that does not mean that you can't apply to them. You definitely can apply to them, in a program like the honors program is going to give you priority consideration when it comes to those competitive UCs. It just means we do not have a guarantee, but we've had so many, a lot of Santa Barbara City College students. One of our previous our previous college reps, one of them got into UCLA, the other one got into UC Berkeley. So it's definitely possible to transfer from Santa Barbara City College to those competitive UCs. It's just not guaranteed through the tag agreement.
Okay, great. Can you talk a little bit about summer, if students, they graduate in June, they're able to start classes in summer 2021. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the fact that the promise doesn't cover until beginning fall 2021?
Yeah, that's another great question. So your promised eligibility does not start until fall of 2021. That does not mean that you can't take classes in summer of 2021. It just means it will not be covered by the SBCC promise. So the SBCC promise will start fall of 2021. You will get fall, spring, the 2 summer sessions, and then fall and spring, and then the 2 summer sessions as well. So you do get to take advantage of the summer sessions, but not until you officially start in the fall of 2021. Now, if you are a high school senior right now and you want to take summer classes, we have 2 summer sessions, summer 1 and summer 2. Summer 1 you would still be a high school student. So summer one, you would need to be a dual enrollment student in order to take summer one classes, because you're not, by the time summer one starts, you're still in high school. Summer two is what you would want to apply to as a first time to college student. Now, if you apply to Santa Barbara City College in summer two and you take classes, you will not need to do the fall of 2021 application. You still need to do all the steps to enrollment as a first time student that I talked about today, but you would do the summer 2021 application instead of the fall 2021 application. And then you would be considered a continuing student going into fall of 2021. Now, where it gets a little bit tricky here is that, let's say you are really excited and you want to take a summer 2021 class, and you sign up for the class, and then the first week you're like, oh no, like, why did I do this to myself? I just want to hang out at the beach all summer. And then you drop the class. Well, then you're not going to be considered taking classes for summer of 2021. That means you need to fill out the application for fall of 2021. And it will, in your pipeline, it will say you have a readmission hold and need to reapply. All of your other steps are always still going to count. Like if you did the orientation, the class planning, and your placement, those are like never taken away as long as you've completed them. But you will need to have a current application for the current semester if you did not attend the previous semester before. So for our local high school seniors, if you want to take summer classes, fill out the summer 2021 application and then take those classes and you'll be a continuing student. Or if you don't want to take summer classes, you're going to fill out the fall 2021 application.
We've had a request, can you go over the promise again as far as what it entails and how to apply for it? Opt-in, sign in, or sign up?
Let's go ahead and go back to this. And this is also going to be available on our website, this whole presentation. And feel free to ask us any questions. So this is the eligibility, right? The eligibility to get the SBCC promise is you need to have graduated, completed your secondary education within the Santa Barbara Community College District, which means any high school, whether it's homeschool, private school, mainstream school, or alternative school, between Gaviota and Carpinteria. If you have any questions on whether your school is eligible, let us know. And we can clarify that for you, or if you want to ask in the questions and we can let you know. You need to complete some sort of financial aid, one of the three, either the CCPG, California College Promise Grant, the FAFSA, or the DREAM Act. And then you also need to commit to a full-time schedule each semester that you're a SBCC Promise student. So that's 12 units per semester, unless you are part of the DSPS program, meaning you had an IEP or 504 in high school, and then they have an accommodation for you taking a reduced unit load, still consider that full-time. You have to enroll at SBCC either the fall or spring term directly out of high school, meaning if you're a class of 2021, you have to come in fall of 2021 or spring of 2021 in order to take advantage of the promise. You need to complete your student education plan, which you will do because it's part of your steps to enrollment. You need to meet with an academic counselor at least one semester, so this is continued eligibility. And then you need to remain in academic good standing at SBCC, meaning a 2.0 or higher. So that goes all this to remain eligible, right? So once you're in the promise, you've signed up for the promise, here is what you need to do in order to remain eligible. The maintain academic good standing, meet with a counselor once a semester, complete the financial aid once a year. So FAFSA, all the financial aid is priority deadline is March 2nd, but you just need to make sure that you have that and then commit to a full-time schedule. Now, all these things have deadlines for the promise. You're going to want to make sure to check your email and they'll tell you, you don't have this done, make sure that you are doing it by this date. Was that helpful?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to go back to our contact information.
I'm going to wait until you get there real quick.
All right. Okay.
So where do I find my pipeline email?
So your pipeline email, so you get a signed pipeline when you complete the application. So the application is what kicks off you getting a pipeline. Once you go to You submit the application. You can go to sbcc.edu. On the left-hand corner, there is a thing that says P for pipeline. You click on that. And then for your first time signing up, you're going to click Find My Account. And you're going to put all the information in and activate your account for pipeline. Your pipeline actual email is going to be in pipeline on the top right-hand corner, the email icon. And your email itself is just your username at pipeline.sbcc.edu. Email us so we can just send you the link over to the steps, because I know I said all of it, but you probably won't remember all those steps. So just shoot us an email and I'll send you a link to get you to the steps of how you activate your pipeline. But just know you need an application on file with us. If you're a dual enrollment student and already have a pipeline, you can just go in there and click Find Account and do that. But you're still going to need a fall 2021 application on file to be considered a first-time college student.
Okay. And Sabrina is also saying that we should, and I'm sorry, I'm a little behind, suggested that I mention that DSPS students, so students that are eligible for DSPS and have been accepted into the program, the first priority registration date for all terms. So we've talked about our local high school students having that priority reg date of May 12th. If you are a DSPS student, you actually have an earlier date than that. And if you think that's going to be you, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and reach out to one of us so that we can get you all that information set up to get into those services.
And same goes for EOPS. So if you
yes, thank you.
Are as part of a program, EOPS or DSPS, or plan on being it, your registration date is even before May 12th, which is fantastic. But you do want to contact us to make sure that you're getting through those steps to enrollment, because you will not be able to register until those are all cleared.
Okay, great. Talk about dual enrollment. I have questions about the dual enrollment situation. I'm a dual enrollment student. I have a pipeline login and password. I have a K number. What do I need to do? Am I just going to become a first-time college student? How does that work?
Great question. So if you're currently a dual enrollment student, yes, you will have a pipeline, and yes, you will already have your Open CCC Apply account. However, you are now transitioning to being a first-time to college student. So some of the requirements to being an SBCC student were not ever required of you because you were a high school student taking college classes. Now you are going to be a college student taking college classes, and you need to go through all the steps to enrollment we talked about today. So you do need to apply for fall of 2021. We need that application on file for you as a first time to college student. I highly encourage you coming to our workshop to help you with that. Please use your same Open CCC Apply account that you've previously used. There's no need to create another one. We want it to sync up, even though you're previously a dual enrollment student. And ideally, you'd still use that same pipeline account, but then it would just kind of just be back end transferred into a first time to college student. So you'd still apply with us for fall of 2021. You still have to do the orientation. You still got to check your placement, and you still have to do class planning. So the only thing is that you already have an existing pipeline and Open CCC Apply account. You still have to go through all the steps to enrollment with us.
Okay. Can you talk about when the deadline to apply to Santa Barbara City College and the Promise is, if there was a deadline?
Great question. So there is not an official deadline. Ideally, right, you're going to want to do all of this by May 12th, right? Because that's your priority registration date. So the goal is to get this all done so that you can register for classes for priority registration, which for our local students is May 12th. Now, generally speaking, you can register for classes at Santa Barbara City College up until the second week of the semester. So in August, you can still register for classes. Do I recommend doing that? No, I do not recommend waiting for the last minute to do any of this. At some point, and forgive me, I don't know the exact date, the eligibility to sign up for the Promise, like it shuts down. And that doesn't mean you can't sign up. It just means that on the website, you're not able to sign up. And if you're late in signing up, you will have to contact the Promise, but I believe that's after the add drop deadline around then.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the second week of the fall semester. If I had to put a deadline on you, which is not an official deadline, it's going to be May 12th to get all of your steps to enrollment done so that you can register by May 12th and be signed up for the promise and not have to worry about any of that stuff.
Okay. How do I find my pipeline login? Should I just go, if I can't find it, can't access pipeline, I don't know it, should I just make a new one?
No, please do not make a new pipeline account. If you have an old pipeline account from being a dual enrollment student, that's great. We're going to want you to still use your Open CCC Apply account. Now, just to be very clear, Open CCC Apply is the application portal that Santa Barbara City College, along with all other California community colleges, use. It is run by the Chancellor's office. And so if you need to troubleshoot getting your Open CCC Apply, let us know. We'll direct you to their help to get into there. But pipeline is created from your application. So if you've previously used that, submit another application. You're going to go onto the where you go log onto pipeline, click find account, put all that information in, but I would not recommend doing that until you have an application on file. So the application is where we really need to start. Right? The application is not in pipeline. The application is an Open CCC Apply, which is a different website. If you want the application link, shoot us an email. We'll send it to you, or go to sbcc.edu and just search application or scroll down and it says apply and enroll, and you can click on that and it'll give you the steps. But it's really going to start with the application and then activating your pipeline after that, which is finding your account and putting that information. And that's going to prompt you to either activate your pipeline or get back into the pipeline that you had. So we do not want you to create two accounts.
I have a question about, so a lot of our students, obviously we talked about that you'll have an earlier priority registration date if you are an accepted DSPS student or EOPS student. Unfortunately, with EOPS, it's a little bit trickier because you do need to be registered in your classes. So most students are accepted into the EOPS program after the first semester that they're on campus. But for the majority of students, it's going to be that May 12th date. Can students register if they finish the steps to enrollment before then? Can they register earlier than May 12th if they are not considered DSPS?
No. So May 12th is actually considered priority registration, meaning you're getting a priority to register. All other first-time students do not register until June 12th. So you're getting registration a whole month ahead of time. The only other dates that are ahead of the May 12th are the DSPS, the EOPS, veterans. If you're a veteran or you qualify for veteran services. Also, I believe student athletes are, so if you're a student athlete, that's why it's important to get in contact with our athletics departments and counseling, because those registration dates will be before the May 12th. But unless you're involved in any of those programs or you're a student athlete, then May 12th is your priority registration date, which is a month before anybody else's registration date.
Christy, do we have any specialized programs for foster youth? For anybody that's foster youth or been in foster care at some point?
Yes, great question. It's called Guardian Scholars. It's a great program and it's run through EOPS. So if you are a former foster youth or a foster youth, highly encourage you to get in touch with us so that we can connect you with our Guardian Scholars program, because there's a lot of great, amazing programs and services for our Guardian Scholars.
Great. I think we have a handful of people that aren't from local high schools. And so one question I've gotten is, do I need to live in the city of Santa Barbara or within the district to be eligible to actually go to Santa Barbara City College? Not to have to do with the promise, but can I live outside in a state, et cetera, out and still be accepted and be eligible to attend SBCC?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, you do not need to live within city or our district to come to Santa Barbara City College. So we have many students who come from other cities, from out of state, that come to SBCC. So it's not a requirement for you to live within our community college district. The only thing is the promise eligibility, right? So you can still get, as someone who lives out of our district, you can still get state aid. So the CCPG, the California College promise is, and that helps you cover your tuition. So fill out that application or fill out the FAFSA so that it can help you with your tuition, textbooks, or fees as well. So definitely come to Santa Barbara City College and definitely apply for financial aid so that that you can get a little bit of assistance from coming to SBCC.
Okay, great. Do we have any jobs on campus or off campus that
Yes.
students need or / want to work? How do they go about that? What services do we provide?
Great question. So we do. In our department, we have what's called college representatives, and they're fantastic. You probably saw some of them in the pictures there. And they work helping us do lots of different things here on campus. And many other departments have that, you know, financial aid, EOPS, admissions and records, you know, athletics. They all have positions for student workers. I would encourage to see if you're eligible for federal work study that comes through the FAFSA. And also we have a career center on campus and virtually on campus, but there is a career center providing services. In your pipeline email, they're always sending out emails about jobs on campus, opportunities, internships, both on campus, off campus. So get connected with our career center. Send us an email so that we can connect you with the career center if you're interested in having a job at SBCC or a job in the community. There is a place in your pipeline that has job postings, both for on-campus and off-campus jobs.
Christy, do we take AP credit?
We do take AP credit, so it is important that you are going through the steps of sending your AP scores to SBCC. And then it's also important you're talking to an academic counselor about AP credit to see how it applies with your academic goal.
Christy, how long is study abroad?
So study abroad has different things. Sometimes it's like a summer program. Sometimes it's like over spring break or winter break. And then sometimes it could be a semester long. So it's different. It depends. They have different kind of programs for study abroad.
Great. Christy, I'm just going to make an announcement about another announcement because I'm getting a few questions about it in regards to some of the CTE programs. So things like cosmetology, culinary, or nursing programs, some marine diving technology. Some of these programs also require prerequisites, so classes you need to take before you can actually apply to the program, or what we consider is called a supplemental application. So you apply to the college, but you also apply to the program. If you are interested in one of those programs, I would highly recommend that you reach out to Christy or myself. We are very knowledgeable in regards to our CTE programs, and it can kind of get a little specific. And so if you're interested in applying for one of these programs, please reach out to us via email so that we can get you that information. Yes. Christy, I'm not 100% sure if this is promise versus non-promise students. So if you could answer it in both ways. Okay. A student asked the question if they have to take summer classes.
No. So as a Santa Barbara City College Promise student, or just a Santa Barbara City College student in general, summer is not required, right? For Promise students in particular, it's advisable, right? Because you get 2 years of the Promise and that includes summer. So that means that you're getting additional units paid for by taking advantage of our 2 summer sessions. So it is not required. It's definitely advisable so that you're getting to your academic goal, getting those units in. And for non-promise students, it's not a requirement. So summer is always optional for promise and non-promise students.
Christy, what's a full-time student? What do we consider a full-time student?
A full-time student is 12 units. So 12 units is each of our classes. I mean, it ranges. Some classes are 1 unit, some classes are 5 units. are, generally speaking, classes are going to be between 3 to 4 units. So you're looking at anywhere between like 3 to 4 classes to be a full-time student, depending on the unit load. So you're going to really want to pay attention when you're registering for classes, unit loads, and make sure you're getting that 12 units. A lot of students and that's why academic counseling is so important, is because they're going to give you a well-rounded student education plan to give you a well-rounded schedule. So you're not taking like all of these hard classes at once, right? Maybe you're taking, like 1 or 2 hard classes, like another class that might be a little bit easier, and then you're taking a PE class, or you're doing like a work experience class or something like that. So 12 units is a full-time student. Again, just want to reiterate, for DSPS students with accommodations, you could have an accommodation that will allow you to have a reduced unit load, and you would still be considered a full-time student. And full-time student status is really important for a couple of things. Number one, it's important for the promise because it's a requirement. And number two, it's important for financial aid in general because it's going to impact how much financial aid you get.
Great. Had a question about, are there certain counselors? Will I have a certain counselor? Do I choose one at random? How does that work?
So I think Sabrina can answer this a little bit better, because I think generally speaking, right, counselors are assigned by major.
Yeah.
So it depends on your major. But I know when you're coming in, are they still assigned by school? Or is that?
No, I think it's just by major, but you know what, we'll come back to this. Hopefully
we can
Sabrina
come back
type
if Sabrina's here.
Students are assigned a counselor based on the major they apply with. Thank you, Sabrina.
So there you go. Thank you, Sabrina. So major, you will be assigned a counselor by major.
Also, Sabrina would like me to reiterate that 4 units is considered full-time for summer. I'm not sure. Sorry, I might have missed that piece.
Oh, yes. 4 units is considered full-time. I believe, I think I said 6. 6 units is the cap.
How would students find out if they're a dual enrollment student or were a dual enrollment student?
Contact us and we'll look up that information. We'll try and look up that information for you. A good way to potentially do it is trying to get into pipeline to see if you have access to that, because or going into your open CCC apply, because it will have record of any applications you've had with Santa Barbara City College, or contact us and we'll try and troubleshoot that for you.
Great. Do we have courses specifically for criminology?
Yes. We have a lot of criminology, really cool classes. Some of our most popular classes are like, what is it? The study of murder, the study of evil. Those are just popular classes in general, but we have a great criminology program. And a couple of the professors I know are people who work in law enforcement in the Santa Barbara community.
Let's see. When is the Running Start application open?
That's a great question. I do not know the answer to that question, but email us, and that way that I can connect you with Ismail, who does the Running Start program, or I'll connect with someone in EOPS and get that answer to you. So just shoot me an email with that question and I'll get back to you ASAP on that.
Great. The DSPS registration date, I'm looking it up right now. Hang on just 1 second. It is April 21st for fall 2021, March 31st. If you're going to go to our summer session 2 is, for DSPS. And then Sabrina asked me to let everyone know that students that are interested in starting SBCC in the summer, you will have an earlier registration date, and that will be April 13th. So for our local high school students that don't meet one of those requirements, like we were talking about before, is in regards to DSPS, if you're our local high school student and you want to enroll in summer session 2, your date would be April 13th. So that means that you can register on or after that date. Obviously, we want you to register sooner versus later. You have a lot more options, a lot more flexibility. Classes that you want aren't full. And then for fall 2021, it would be May 12th. Let me see.
And if you want to look at those priority registration dates, they are on our website. Just shoot us an email and we'll send you the link to that priority registration website.
Christy, are students that have an IEP or they're part of DSPS, are they eligible for the study abroad program?
Yeah, all students are eligible for the study abroad program. We would connect you to the study abroad program for more specifics, but yes, all students.
When you apply for financial aid or specifically for FAFSA, does it automatically mean that your tuition is going to be free? Or is it based on how much money you and or your family make?
So when you apply to financial aid, whether that's going to be DREAM Act, FAFSA, or CCPG, it is going to be based on need, right? And that is based upon your couple of factors. One is going to be family size, and one is going to be family income. So I don't know like the specific caps for all of that, but your award will be based upon cost of attendance and then your need. And it's not automatic. You will be given a financial aid award letter that will tell you what aid you're eligible for.
One point about study abroad that Sabrina brought up that is important is that if you are an AB 540 student or you are undocumented, there is a strong possibility that you may not be eligible for study abroad programs. If that's your situation, what I would really recommend is for you to reach out to us. Yes. So that we can kind of get more information about that.
Definitely. Okay. And Nicole is her name, who does study abroad, and she would be more than happy to meet with you or talk with you in regards to any situation you may have and your interest in study abroad.
That's the questions I have so far.
Okay. All right, great questions. Again, we really just emphasize that you contact us with any follow-up questions that you might have, and understand that this is a process, and so you definitely questions will come up at each kind of step to enrollment, and reach out to us. And we're really, really excited and happy to help you. All right, are we good, Liz, for questions?
Let me just make sure.
Yeah, we'll double check. We want to make sure to answer all of your questions.
Yeah. And if you do have a question, make sure to put it in the Q&A and not the chat function. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything or miss anybody's questions. And if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask.
And you can, and you can email us. If you do that QR code, it's going to take you to our local high school website, but also it'll take you to our chat feature. Unfortunately, we are closed today. The chat closed at, or no, the chat closes at 6 today. So if you have any questions, you can shoot it in the chat. Tomorrow we are open 8 to 4 and Friday 8 to 1. And our chat hours are posted on our enrollment services website.
And just a second. One question, some confusion about two summer school sessions.
Yeah.
The April 13th versus first session 2 versus session 1. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that because of how it affects our high school students?
I'm not clear. So are they talking about registration for summer session versus registration for fall, or are they saying registration if I go to summer session for my registration to fall?
So I believe, and Kate, let me know in the Q&A if I'm not getting this correct. I think the student is interested in the fact that we have 2 summer school sessions. So like, what's the difference? So our summer school session 1 is actually taking place while high school students are still in high school. And so if students were going to take summer school session 1, they would still be considered a dual enrollment student because it's classes that are shrunk down from a 14-week to a 6-week. Most students that are still in high school, now obviously being on the virtual and the online environment, this is a little bit different now, but in the past, the majority of our high school students had a very difficult time taking dual enrollment classes during that summer session, that first summer session, because they're still in high school. And so most of our local high school students or June graduates come in as an incoming student, either summer session 2, and that's the April 13th date that I was talking about, or excuse me, yes, April 13th is our local high school students priority registration date for summer session 2. For fall 2021, your priority registration date would be May 12th. If you were to come during summer session 1, you would be considered a dual enrollment student, and you would have the registration date of a dual enrollment student, which is much later usually.
Yeah, I hope that clarified. So generally speaking, if you're wanting to take summer session class as a first time to college student, you should be taking the summer session 2. And then ideally you'd have all of your steps to enrollment done by the April 13th date so that you can register by that date.
Right. And Kate, you're right. Your question, she asked a follow-up question. I just want to verify with her that for both summer sessions 1 and 2, that registration date is going to be April 13th. There's not a separate date for summer session 1 and summer session 2. Additional question. Do we have classes and majors, excuse me, in social work and sociology?
So we do have sociology, sociology major and classes. I'm not aware of anything specifically pertaining to social work. Do you?
It would be sociology.
Yeah, be sociology. Yeah. So the sociology major and then the sociology classes.
And if you wanted to go to become a licensed social worker, that would be something that you would have as your career plan, and you would go into a bachelor's degree program that was more social work focused, but that's something that you don't need to worry about right now. You can talk to your academic counselor about that. And internships. Do we have internships? Yeah.
So internships, they're going to go through the Career Center. So jobs, internships, they have a lot of great opportunities and possibilities through the Career Center. And check your pipeline email because the Career Center is constantly sending out emails in regards to internship opportunities. They have like workshops, like people coming in specific careers and presenting on it. And so that could create internship opportunities. And then on our website, or not our, in your pipeline account, there is a section in there. And if you email us, we can give you the steps on how to access it. There's a section in there where you can look for internships and jobs that are offered to SBCC students.
And somebody was asking about whether or not we have anatomy classes. We do.
Yes.
I would recommend, if you want more information about that and exactly what those classes are called, et cetera, is to contact one of us directly.
Yeah, we do have anatomy classes. And then it would be important to kind of just to discuss your overall academic goal with your counselor in class planning so they can recommend which classes would be beneficial for you to take.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Now, what's that? What is the typical tuition if you don't qualify for FAFSA?
So for California state residents, it's going to be $46 a unit. And then there are student fees. Now, forgive me, because normally student fees are going to be like around $56, $58. But due to like COVID and other things, that has slightly changed depending on the semester and if we're in person versus not in person. So $46 a unit plus around like $50 of fees. And that's just for tuition and fees, and then that does not include textbooks. So if you would like a general cost of attendance, email us and we can shoot you on our website where it says the cost of attendance, which includes like home and living expenses.
And what Christy was saying, that's if you're considered an in-state student. If you're considered an out-of-state student, it's $290 a unit, and then there's some fees on top of that as well that are very similar.
I would imagine most people here are not out of state.
Yeah, I've got a handful in this session that aren't from here, so I'm not 100 that aren't local high school students that I've been going back and forth with. So I just want to make sure and say that, just because I don't know.
Yeah, so out of state is a different tuition.
Any other questions?
All right. Any coming in, Liz, or?
No.
Okay, so I think we will wrap up the session. Again, if you didn't get your question today or you need follow-up, please email us, contact us. Our contact information is there. Take a snapshot of that, and we're happy to follow up and help you. But cannot emphasize enough, visit our local high school website that's going to have all of our upcoming workshops so that we can help you through the enrollment process. And thanks for being here today. I know a lot of you hung on strong through the extra, so we appreciate that. All right, so I will be ending the session, Liz. We're all good?
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Okay, yes, thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.